when you establish a relationship with somebody. What's that saying go on? I don't care to know how much you know until I know how much you care. Yeah.
Why should I feel discouraged? Why should the shadow...
If you listen to a person that has been truly broken and they're pouring their heart out to you with the help of the Holy Spirit, your life getting ready to be transformed. There's some changes getting ready to go on in your life. I guarantee you. And I get the wonderful opportunity to see that. But like I say, my biggest sorrow is, as I look at the gospel being spread to various other cities and states, I also look at these men and women getting out that the word is going to be just choked right away from them. It's going to be snatched away from them. And we need to step up and prevent that from happening as Christ Church.
My negative came to a positive now because I see myself just getting out of prison, being out almost 2 weeks. And now I see my sons doing the same thing that I've done when I was out there. And I had a long talk with them today, you know, being married and got a wife and got a girlfriend and this, and you can't figure out you want to marry this one, but he don't know who you want to be with. So my negative turned into positive for me because I can relate to my kids and tell them what I've been through and what that led me down the wrong road.
That's right.
And plus, and I can remember one of the counsel telling me, you can never give a person something that you never experienced before. By me experiencing that, and I've been down that road, I tell my son, look here, man, you doing the same thing I'm doing. This was today, and I said, man, that led me down the wrong road. I said, man, you need to make up your mind which one of these women you want to be with. Because I know, even though he might not want to do nothing, she might want to do something for him for messing over. Then that's going to lead you to want to do something back to her, and then look, you in prison. So with me and my kids, I want to stop the cycle now. Because I'm the first somebody out of my family to ever come to prison. And so now I'm trying to stop that cycle now. I don't want nobody else in my family, none of my kids, none of my grandkids. But it all started with me because I've been there. And it's my job as a godly man to tell my kids my life experience that they can have a better life.
If prisoners are able to tell their stories, we're able to find out people's noblest dreams and aspirations. Also understand, get into the psyche of how people think and how people decided they were going to move into a life of crime and these kinds of things. Or also maybe even get into that human component of what people are really like and what is underlying all of the layers that exist that the criminal justice system has already seen. You know, I think that we can allow prisoners to tell their stories because first we recognize that prisoners do have stories, that they have a past, that they have goals and ambitions, and they have a future and they want to achieve their greatest potential. Also, storytelling makes for better public policy from our legislators, from policymakers, from grassroots organizers, the people who are all trying to make sure our American public policy works. And lastly, because of that human component, we're able to tap into who prisoners are as people and relate to them on that personal level. We maybe can understand where they've come from and how to better help them as they move and transition into back into citizenry.
Well, faith really didn't start the work in my transformation until I knew where to place my faith. See, once I knew where or in whom to place my faith in, that's what made all the difference in the world, because that started my personal relationship with Christ. Now I'm knowing who this is. for so long we've set up in churches and raised holy hands and shouted hallelujah, but do we really know who we're really truly praising and really, really worshiping as a real and personal person in our life? But faith took me over and allowed me to totally surrender all of me, so that the only one who can transform could start that transforming process in my own very life. I didn't come up in a bad environment. I came up in a pretty good Christian environment. Now, there was not a lot of Bible talk, but there was quite a bit of Bible living. But I had no idea. I'm young and I'm coming up. So I chose to be stupid. I chose to do the wrong things and ended up leading me to a life of crime. But it wasn't till my last incarceration of Florida Department of Corrections when I met Jesus Christ in 1996. When I was being processed in, and I knew there was no way I was going to get out of this. I was going to serve this time. I rearranged my language. I didn't ask God to get me out of this, but I did ask him to carry me through it. And at that particular time, I really didn't know what I was asking. But evidently that was the right answer, because it was then that I totally surrendered my life to Christ while incarcerated. Now, mind you, I'm from Houston, Texas. I'm on the run. I'm way out here in Florida. Nobody knows where I'm at. I don't have any business being there. And now all of a sudden I'm trapped here. And I don't want anybody to know it. So I'm all alone. It's me and Jesus. That's why you hear me speak so much about personal relationships with Christ.
My faith journey is a transformation as a person. I guess it kind of, because I was young when I accepted Christ. I was in prison for like 3 years, so I was like 19. So at first, of course, there accepting Christ, I didn't do anything. I started reading a little bit and going to church a little bit more, but I was still the same person. I was just still doing a little hustling in prison, still getting in trouble and stuff like that, because I thought it was just, like reading the Bible and going to church. But over time, God saw fit to start putting solid people around me. Guys that were just like me, came in when they were young, but they grew up in prison as believers. Then men that would come from society as believers. So I had a good group of mentors that were men that were in prison. So over time, they were in the church, so I started getting opportunities to go to church and be an usher, or they may let me open up in prayer for the service. Things like that. So eventually I became the head usher. Then I was able to do a little more talking, what we call inspirations, speak for 5 minutes. Then eventually after that, I kind of took a break. And when I came back, they asked me to come back. Then I was put in a leadership position as a deacon over the church. So it was like 3 of us that were deacons, like over the whole unit. So God just allowed me to grow as a leader in prison. So that's part of where I feel my journey came from, because he put me in a lot of leadership positions while I was in prison, especially like my last 6-7 years. Then when I got out, he saw fit to give me some more opportunities to be in leadership positions as well. So God created me in my journey as a believer to be a leader, taught me how to study a little bit better. And the main thing was that I have a terrific group of mentors. And that was where a lot of my strength came at, them telling me the truth and not just telling me, okay, you're doing good. They telling me why I messed up at it and how I can do better. So, the whole time was the guys that were in prison were mentors, and the volunteers that came to prison, they were mentors as well. And they just loved Jesus, and that's what helped me out the most. Why I accepted him, because this one guy, I couldn't tell you his name to this day. I don't even remember how he looked, but he would always come in and they would let him walk around prison by himself. And he would always just try to talk to people. Well, I was young, of course, and I used to try to get away from him. But one day he trapped me and my friend, and I didn't see him come, just like he popped up. So my friend saw him. My friend just got away, because he would always seem to catch us together. So I listened to him that day, and it was just that he would always come in, and you like, man, why would this guy come in, and they would let him walk around prison by himself? You know, why is this? So like again, at 19, I accepted him, but for many years I didn't do anything with it. But it became that I'm like, well, if I'm gonna do it, man, let me do it wholeheartedly. Let me see if Jesus is real. You know, let me see if God is real. Let me see if all this stuff that these people are always talking about this love and all this other stuff, let me do my best to put effort in, because if I don't put an effort in, then I can't say that I actually tried it. So I guess probably my mid-20s, 26, something like that, I actually just say, okay, let me just give it, you know, let me just try it. But a little bit before that, I just started trying it, man, and I always tell people, everything that God has allowed me to be a part of, I've never failed at it. I've made some mistakes, but I've never failed at anything when I say, God, this is yours. I have never failed. The people that I've been able to lead and the people that I've been associated with, that means that they've never failed either, because God has taken and I've dedicated it to God. So once I saw that, I'm like, well, let me start being a little more serious, you know, and witnessing a little more and doing what I need to do. And not trying to be God, but let me just do what I need to do to receive what God says he has for me, and that's just his blessings.
Yeah, really I came here because I was going to change my life. But then when I became saved, like in 2008, I went to a Christian program called IFI. Then I ran across Gary having a class called Search for Significance. So when I went to his class, I thought that, you know, maybe should I change my surroundings, my people, places, and things. And I said to myself, well, if I'm going to change, I need to change all the way. So my people wondering why I didn't come back to Dallas, and I decided to come to Houston because I don't know nobody. I became saved because I got tired of just being that crash dummy so long. I said, well, you know, I've been working with the devil so long, but I see what he has for me, destruction and death, and to steal, kill, and destroy me. So I said, man, if I become saved, I'm going to go all the way with it, you know. And when I became saved, when I went to IFI and met Gary for further ground and searched for significance, it was just something that got in me, man, and said, you can't fake the Lord. He know who you are, but you can fake man, but you can't fake him all the time, but you can't fake God no time. So, you know, if you're going to be real about it. And, you know, that's what I chose. And that's how I became saved, you know, because I got tired of just being sitting there and doing the same old circle over and over and over and over. And, you know, my people want to know why I didn't come back to Dallas. I said, you'd rather have me away and saved than there and causing chaos. And be